When people show you who they are, believe them.
Okay.
Tyler has shown
two selves.
A falsetto-voiced flower boy
And a baritone goblin. Is he the rose? Or is that falsetto false? Part 1. Do monsters remain monsters?
We here at
Film Switch were raised by art. Whiplash was the callous dad who barked, "Work your ass off." And Moulin Rouge was our other, more affectionate father who'd cry at the top of his lungs. Perfectly said, yet difficult to execute. Sometimes you show love, and in return you get hate. Expecting this person to change, you give them another shot, showing love like you were taught, but again, he's a monster. A creature Caligula would be proud to call its own, kickstarting its career with a roach chomp and growls of how he stabbed
Bruno Mars in his goddamn esophagus and won't stop until the cops come in.
the eyes of a demon. He was a monster, and continued to be, pushing and pushing and pushing buttons, lyrically and visually with his far from PC songs and music videos. Maybe a guy to have a good summer fling with, but way too feral to be the spend the rest of your life with type, right?
I wanted this album to sound like a Disney score, just like very magical, my perfect little indie movie.
Suddenly the goblin is mellow? A boy I can lay on ice with in the winter? Kiss on the beach in the summer?
My dear, when people show you who they are, why don't you believe them?
I don't know. Maybe he was going through a stormy time. What if it was all just a behavior of a seed in need of some sun? I want to be that light and nurture him because
after the storms when the flowers bloom. I look strong to you. It must be a crazy facade.
With motivating lyrics like,
If you need a hero, just look in the mirror.
Kali Uchisi's character in After the Storm does look strong, reaching Issa Rae levels of self-esteem.
Who's gonna get that dick? You.
That
The
confidence,
sun will come out.
combined with her positive outlook, make her a person who will fight for what they feel they deserve, and this fighter yearns for a lover. However, she knows she can't just sit around waiting for a prince.
Gonna save you now, so you better save yourself.
She heeds her own advice by taking initiative, going to the grocery store and buying a partner, watering him till he grows. But the problem is, the guy she's growing was the goblin in Yonkers.
Khaled, what you mean?
He claims to be
I
different,
take it offensive, cause I'm the hottest flower boy that popped up on the scene.
The fact that she waters him shows she saw the goblin of Nilbog smile and fall for it.
I can fix that.
She says,
There's a lover in there, I just know it.
and she tries. Tyler seems genuinely grateful for the faith she's put into him as a potential lover, thanking her poetically with lines like,
Feeling better than ever, cause your umbrella.
he calls her his umbrella, for a moment confirming her hope, but then he purges himself of the poetics and ends his verse crudely.
Thrill is my chocolate with your vanilla,
With that smile and eyebrow raise, we know he just wants sex. After all the work she's put into making this flower bloom, he degenerates into the same ass-obsessed goblin kid he was before. But she's stuck with him. Why would she stick with him? Sure, the garden scene looks nice, but it ends up playing out like the start of David Lynch's Blue Velvet. The surface is as rosy as Tyler's You're My Umbrella lyric. But if you squint and take a closer look, you'll see that there's death, vulgarity, and monsters lying beneath. If you take a closer look, you'll see that while he's happy about his family, Tyler's still more concerned about keeping his sausage warm.
Run it, run it, run it, run it.
As the camera pans and we take an even closer look, we see a fed-up Callie next to a loose-eyed Tyler, who can't help but look at other flowers, blocking her out of the picture. What an asshole. There are moments where he'll be the family man you can lay on the ice with and kiss on the beach, but in the end, he is who he is, even if he doesn't want to be.
It's called See You Again. And, excuse my voice. I can't sing.
He really can't, at least not in the way he'd like to. In an interview with Larry King, Tyler mentioned the frustration he has with his voice.
Like, I really want to sing, but my tone of voice is too deep to do what I want.
He mentioned it again in an interview with Gerard
I've
Carmichael.
always kind of hated my voice. So, like, my stuff from, like, 2008, I would pitch it up. Then 2009, 10, I would pitch it down. Because I just hated it.
In his live shows.
Okay.
The falsetto parts he was able to pull off in studio are mostly left in the hands of a backtrack and audience members. He wants to be a sweeter sounding Frank Ocean type, but his voice is too booming. So as those softer bits go, he must wait.
Can I switch it up?
Like a bee about to sting.
Can I switch it up?
He has to wait till he becomes
Can I switch it up?
the unhinged scumfuck goblin bee he's always been.
I said, okay, don't get my infatuation interlated to another phone. What you call it?
He had surrounded himself with petals. Those dream state lyrics are star-crossed level romantic. Callie's vocals could tempt sirens and the synth. They unlock memories of those nights on ice, seaside frolics. You want it to last forever, want him to be this guy forever, but he can't help but let the beat drop.
You don't understand me, what the fuck do you...
Still the rapping goblin in Yonkers. It's only a matter of time before he gets this vulgar again. And here it is.
Yeah, I give up my bakery to have a piece of your pie. Ugh.
But that final disgusted ugh suggests he doesn't want to be this purely shallow, only after your pie type guy. That also explains why both live and in the music video, he does a respectful salute at the end of the verse. Instead of accepting his monstrosity, Tyler, as we said, is disgusted by it. Reaching for a falsetto is his way of drowning his inner lower tone monster and showing a genuine type of love that strays from the shallow lust he once exhibited. But when asked why he's in love with this dream person, he gets combative visually by surrounding himself with wartime imagery and lyrically by dropping the only slur in the whole song.
You don't understand me, what the fuck?
He is combative because he knows the attraction wasn't actually emotional. He was more into their physical aspects.
Them rose to the cheeks, yes, them dirt color eyes.
While those descriptions are probably more poetic than anything in that book, the compliments are still shallow. Hardly the flower, Tyler's the bee, or more specifically, the
Sugar, honey, iced tea, bumblebee on the scene.
in other words, a shit bee on the scene, looking to get some action as evidenced by the aforementioned double entendre.
Yeah, I give up my bakery to have a piece of your pie. Ugh.
He's tried to become a flower boy, changing his voice, getting poetic, doing everything in his power to keep it in step and turn sweet. But he can't. You'll want to change him and he'll want to change too. Might even glue petals onto his skin for you, but soon you'll hold his hand expecting flowers, only to see he's the bee. Don't date him, even after Igor.
So are you saying you want me to stop being what I was to get you? So what that means is when I stop being what I am, you start to look at me and go, you ain't even got a boat.
Throughout his career, Tyler's been a servant to sin, and he seemed to enjoy it. But Flower Boy songs like See You Again showed us he's been serving against his will, which explains the title of his new album. Igor is popularly known as the assistant to monster maker Dr. Frankenstein. Donning the Hunchback's moniker as opposed to the actual monster's moniker is Tyler's way of saying he was never the goblin. He just used his body to help bring goblins to life the way Igor used his body to help bring Frankenstein's monster to life. If he's just a vessel, then he can be used for love. And Igor's songs like Puppet prove it. He can hand over the reins and have you control him. You can get him to change.
But change is the most monstrous thing he could do. To change is to get rid of his boat, his bait, the volatility that attracted me to him in the first place.
Wait, are you saying?
That's right.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
I like that he was a fling, because that made starting a relationship challenging. Now he's ready to commit, ready to end the confrontation. How boring. I'm leaving. I liked you better when your eyes wandered, when your temper faltered, you fucking monster went off and changed on me. I should have known. Bastards show you who they are, so.
Believe them the first time.